We're cranking up the digital broadcast system. Takes a few seconds to get to the servers, and it should be to you live now. Good morning. Good day. Welcome to this Friday. My name is John. Some people call me Halcyon. You can call me whatever you like. I'm actually kind of trying on Johnny, so feel free to call me Johnny. If you're here, say hello. Let me know, and the people here know something that you're grateful for. Or ask me a question. Let me know something that you're going through in your life. If you'd like a little perspective from a jolly man in his mid 50s. Welcome, American Dream, and welcome, Professional Vampire. Ooh, that's good work if you can get it. Boy, do I like this time of year. It's in San Diego. It's sunny, but not too hot. That's like the sweet spot for me. So I am grateful for any time that it's sunny out and I can wear a beanie or a sweatshirt and not sweat. Yes. Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning. Good day. Gerbot, I am increasingly excited to see you in person in January. I had a bout of nervousness about it last week. And as it's getting closer and I'm seeing who signed up, I am really looking forward to dropping in with the participants of the Love Ambassador Meetup, the mini retreat happening in January, which if you're interested, let me know. There's still spots available. Gerbot says, thankful and grateful. It's Friday. I got a few fun things this weekend. Got a Christmas party for the Wholehearted Chorus. I have a friend of mine, Jen Powell, is an incredibly creative person. She's worked as an engineer. She's worked as a teacher teaching art, and she creates so much. And so she is having a one-day sale at her home of all the stuff that she makes with like jewelry, cutting boards, custom cups, laser cutting things, epoxy pours, just like clothing. She's got a whole line of cool like festival men's clothing she's been making. So I'm super grateful for Jen and our long-term friendship and witnessing the creative fire in her. And it's execution. You know, it's one thing to have lots of ideas. It's one thing to get stoned and hang out in a hot tub and say, you know what we should do? It's an entirely different thing to create and build and sew and construct and paint and make things that are treasures to someone else. So I am looking forward to doing some shopping and seeing what she's created and continuing to be inspired by Jen. So thank you, Jen. I love you. Thanks for being you in the world. Hello, Edna. Good day to you. Awesome, Gerbot. Welcome, Missy Love and Living the Rad Life. Living the Rad Life. You're a person after my heart. Rad is my favorite. What's the word? Adjective? Expletive? Depends on how you use it, I guess. Oh, I noticed up on the screen, I just put a graphic that I was working on right before here. Last night, recorded a new episode of Hard on the 80s, available this morning. Now it's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and should be wherever you get your podcasts. But if you search Hard on the 80s and it doesn't come up wherever you do it, you listen, please let me know. I would love to remedy that. Hard on the 80s is a show where my brother and I and our longtime friend Shonda, we rewatch an 80s movie on our own, and then we come together and we talk about it, and it's lots of laughing, sometimes cringing, and it's a lot of fun. So if you wanna just hang out with me and some friends laughing, put it on. I honestly, I thought I was gonna enjoy Christmas Vacation more than I did. I Maybe I was not in the right mood, but I was like, I used to think this was funny. I think a big part of that is because my opinion about Chevy Chase has been altered because of his public, persona as being so difficult, and knowing that so many people think he's a jerk made it hard to embrace him as this lovable buffoon. He was just an annoying buffoon to me. What are you grateful for? I would love to hear something you're grateful for or some question, something you're pondering, maybe something that philosophical or relationship wise or professionally, or maybe even if, I would say not something in the news. Don't ask me my opinion or my thoughts on things in the news, unless it's a news article like boy saves 900 kittens, marries 3 of them. I'd be happy to weigh in on something like that. Uh, I am grateful for some little I've been making little improvements around the house. Like we have a our TV room has got 3 different lamps in it that we use depending on, are we gonna eat in there? Are we drawing in there? Are we like, because certain lights make it harder to watch TV, and I now have all 3 lamps plugged into these plugs, so they're all automated with a single remote, so you can just like, turn them all on, turn them all off, or turn one of them off, and it's a surprisingly pleasant enhancement to the enjoyment of that space. And I also did the same thing, except for an outdoor version for some lights we have outside. We moved in and there were some cool hanging lights in the courtyard, but the only way to turn them on and off is to plug them in and unplug them. And the plug is like really sticky and you kind of got to maneuver around the barbecue to do it. So we almost never turn the lights on outside. So I hooked it up to remote. So now from inside the kitchen, you can turn on the outdoor cool, pretty little hanging lights that are in the courtyard. So I'm grateful for a few technologies that made my life better or more enjoyable. Edna says, my carpet is just about dry, and apparently there's no water leak. Whew. That can be so stressful. I'm glad that you are getting near the end of that adventure. We, a few months ago, left town and had a hose burst and just was flooding our front yard with water, and it kind of went under the house and into our storage space. And thankfully, we have awesome property management who sent people out and put their 10 big dryers, and although I still have a dehumidifier down there, just trying to deal with the rest of it. So yay for you, Alan. Good morning, good day. What time does it sit where you are? But thank you for being here. Are you got any gratitude in your heart that you wouldn't mind sharing with us? Could be something small, like grateful for handles on coffee cups, that make them so much easier to drink. Or maybe something grand, like I'm grateful that Lisa said yes when I asked her to marry me. And it says, I'm grateful I didn't have to contact insurance or anything. High Noon is grateful for his neurodivergent brain. Awesome. Gearbot says, woohoo, yay for living in the future. Totally. It's easy to let the conveniences of the modern world just creep up. It's like that no comment on Louis CK, but his routine, everything's awesome, no one's happy about being on an airplane and the Wi-Fi going out, is one of the greatest comedy routines ever. 1:11 a.m. for Alan, amazing. Well, I love it. We are worldwide right now. Welcome, Laura and Tusansky. Come on, what else are you grateful for? Good morning, Juan. Oh, I wanted to say that yesterday we were talking about making a book list or recommended books, and I have started that. So if you go to http:// and go to books.hugnation.com, it will redirect you to an Amazon list page. So feel free to recommend books or anything that you feel is a helpful tool for someone who is in alignment with us. I was describing it as we are sexy, silly, sacred seekers. Kind of like the sound of that. I have t-shirts that say sexy, silly, sacred, but I kind of like it when you throw seeker on there. How would you describe your philosophies on spirituality and personal growth? I see myself as a sexy, silly, sacred seeker. What else? I'm grateful that my coloring books are all done. I made custom coloring books for Asher and some of the kids in my life. So I made multiple versions. I made one that's got faces of local friends' kids. It's kind of an assortment, like every kid has got one or two drawings in it. I didn't do the drawings. I used AI to help create base drawings, and I used AI to help me turn the kids' faces into line drawings, and then I photoshopped it all together. But then I have one version that's almost all Asher and our friend Sophia. Like, this is Sophia riding a Tyrannosaurus. And here's me and the Hug Monster at Burning Man. I've actually been coloring them, which has been fun. Like, this is Asher riding a dinosaur. So I can attest that they are fun. And I've been making prototypes, so now I have like a lot of versions of it around my house. It was going to be like a 2-hour project. I thought would just be fun to make a couple drawings, and I've now spent, I'll just say, I've enjoyed the process of creating over an extended amount of time. Hey, Gunner. Happy December to you. What are you grateful for? Alan says, it's hard, been a pretty rough year, to be honest, but I'm grateful for my friends looking after me through it. I can appreciate that. I hear that. And thank you for practicing that gratitude muscle. Gratitude is not something that you reserve until things are good in your life and then note them. Gratitude is a way to soften the edges of the hard things in your life, like you just did. It's been rough, but I'm grateful for my friends looking after me. That was graduate level gratitude sharing. Thank you. I'm grateful that I got a little more courage and I started playing a little bit more with the AI analysis of me that Meredith made. If you're here, was it yesterday? 2 days ago? 2 days ago, I think I was talking a bunch about AI and some of my hesitation so I spent a little bit more time with this tool, and I've even added more. I have like 35 transcripts of lectures and talks and morning broadcasts that I've done. And I'm really slowly getting more comfortable with with using it as a tool without it freaking me out. High Noon says, gratitude for the inner me shining through art. You know what? That reminds me of something. Yesterday, I was talking about this book that I wrote in 2009, Love More, Fear Less, Float More, Steer Less. Anybody know what the cover illustration is a reference to? Dun, 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 dun. But I have not opened this book for a while. You can still get it on Amazon. It's a book of essays. There's two parts. The first two were like really hit me, but this is 16 years ago. I wrote this letter to remind myself who I want to be today. Good morning, and welcome to this brand new. Am I popping? Kind of. Last night when I was recording, my brother was like, "You're making your too close. Your mic is not sounding too good. So let me try this. Let me see if this will sound better. You can tell me if it's not. Okay. Ooh. Or if it's not worth it. If I bring this down, maybe that'll not cover my face as much. Okay. Good morning and welcome to this brand new day. Your existence today is a miracle. Every thought, sight, and sensation is a gift. You are an expression of the divine. You will attend to daily tasks, but never forget that your purpose is to show and share love. You are a blessing on the world. Your smile and warm eyes are gifts you can give all day long. You can see the divine seed in everyone, and you feel compassion for all. You are unaffected by other stress and anger. You are connected to all things. You have the ability to be in harmony with everyone and everything. You refuse to retaliate or be lured into conflict. You are confident but humble. You are a good listener. You are open to possibility. You pay attention to roadside flowers, cloud formations, and children's faces. You see the miracles present in every moment. You are overflowing with gratitude. You will never have this day again. Enjoy. Isn't that a nice little letter to remind myself who I want to be today? I am going to try to listen to that or reread that as much as I can. Welcome, those of you popping in on Instagram. Leave a comment of something that you're grateful for so I can share it with the rest of the group. The people who are here on different mediums. Part of the purpose of this is to allow our own lens of appreciation of the world be expanded by what other people are noticing in their worlds. Juan says, I love that book. I've read it so many times. My book? Oh, if that's true, I'm, you know what? Even if you're talking about another book, I'm going to pretend that's what you're talking about because that felt nice, warm, and fuzzy. And that will be evidence point number 3 in the last 24 hours of real affirmations. Earlier this week, I was struggling a bit with confidence and what do I have of purpose or of meaning, of value to share with the world. And I've had 3. You're number 3. I'm kind of forcing you into it, Juan. I had a woman who was listening to this live broadcast yesterday, but didn't contribute, wrote me a really nice note about she was saying, I really like the addition to the Love Morning of requesting questions or feedback. And she was like, I really like the way that you kind of acknowledge that, you're not an expert, but if you'd like my perspective, I'd love to share it. And then she shared that the advice that I gave to someone else about taking a spiritual cleanse break was super helpful to them. And I was like, "Oh," and then they bought the book that we talked about of self-observation. Then she listened to the Stay Sparked episode that I talked about with Autumn Sky and ended up purchasing one of her courses. I was like, yes. And then last night, a old friend reached out and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that one of my clients that I recommended listening to your morning broadcast a year ago finally listened yesterday, and they found it so helpful and so soothing and calming. And just, I wanted you to know that your ripples are being felt." And it was so interesting. Lisa was giving me a hard time last night. I mean, lovingly, but she was like, I mean, in this week, the beginning of the week, I was collecting evidence of why I no longer have value. And then the last 48 hours, the universe has been just piling on evidence of the value that I provide is just not the way that I was measuring it. So I'm so appreciative of the reminders that people like you resonate with what we're doing, and that there is value to a practice of gratitude, of vulnerability, of reminding one another that we're not alone, and that there is real purpose and activism in making tiny choices towards kindness and compassion. So, thank you. Thanks, Gunner. Juan says, I actually love it, highlighted it and all, and I always share it with my friends. Thank you. I should let you know that this book is on the Hug Nation Christmas Friends of Friends list. So if you are looking for gifts and you don't want to buy from Amazon, there is, I've been compiling a list of gifts of people that are friends of mine or friends of their friends that are selling things that you could make your gifting into a double gift, a gift to the recipient and a gift to the artist or creator or writer. And that's at shopping.hugnation.com. And if you have something that people could buy or I could buy, I still have a couple gifts that I was like, I would really like to not just pick something off Amazon, you know, or get another candle. Although if you make candles, please let me know so I can put it on the shopping page. Eileen says, not to toot your horn, John, but I find this circle as insightful as a Ram Dass talk. I love y'all. Thank you. And I would say this circle is highly inspired by Ram Dass. And I think that there's also something, you know, I have learned that there's always value in digesting, living, walking, practicing with great ideas from great teachers, Ram Dass, Alan Watts, Byron Katie, and then sharing those filtered through a personal experience. Because for every unique person, sometimes that wisdom can actually reach more directly through the experience of someone that they have stuff in common with. Like the Course in Miracles, from what I understand, it's a brilliant text. I can't read more than a page before I go, what did I just read? What did I just read? But for 10 years, I would go to weekly lectures given by a guy named Jacob Glass. And he would tell stories about his life filtered through what he's learning in the Course in Miracles. And it was so significant in my spiritual growth. And I think that that's good for all of us to remember, that we are fully qualified to be students and teachers at the same time. Hey, Steve. Steve says, grateful for the wonderful 11 and a half years we had with our dog, Gwen, who died suddenly and unexpectedly the other night. Thanks for sharing that, Steve. Boy, that is one of that's where the rubber hits the road with gratitude and avoiding bypassing. And, can you feel grief and wrap it in gratitude? To me, that is the kind of the golden recipe for healing, you know. So my heart is with you, Steve. Sean, hello, Manifest, says, I make hats and pipes and art. I also make boogie pants to the client. Well, if you have a URL that I can send people to, shoot it my way and I will add it to the list. There has to be a URL for me to add it to the shopping list at shopping.hugnation.com. Welcome, Infant Swim Kahala. Hyanun says, gratitude for the process of hearing clearly. I so understand more as I listen to someone. I am grateful. I'm grateful for my partner Lisa and I's gratitude practice. We have a couple of traditions. At the end of most days, we do the Wordle puzzle on, is it New York Times? We do the Wordle. And then we each share what I appreciate about you is, and sometimes it's something basic. I appreciate the healthy meal you provided and the love that you put into cooking for us today. And sometimes it's like an aha awareness of some new facet of their genius. And it seems so simple, and it has a dramatic effect. Because, I never feel taken for granted, and it just makes me wanna keep doing more and more things to support her in our relationship. So, if wherever you are in your relationship, I know that we are early on in ours, but I recommend it to all couples. It just changes the lens. It is so easy, and it's kind of the default for the mind to collect evidence of things it wishes were different. What's wrong? They never do the dishes. I'm always doing the dishes, you know? But if you counteract the mind's tendency to go, "Oh, what did they do today? Or what did I notice in them today that is really beautiful?" It it doesn't change who they are initially. It changes the way you see them. And then when someone is feeling appreciated, they have a natural desire to do the things that make their partner more happy, because it feels good to know that you're making someone feel good. Manifest says, "You're my only computer interaction." Well, I'm honored. Ellen shared his digital art project. Interesting. I look forward to checking that out. Anybody else want to share a little gratitude? Something they're appreciating, or a question or a thought or an inquiry of advice? I mentioned the book list has started. I mentioned there's a new episode of Hard on the 80s. Yesterday, I mentioned there's a new episode of Stay Sparked. I'd also like to give a shout out to my new favorite podcast, which is Infinite Harmony. hosted by a guy named Jackie Dragon. I just asked him this morning if he would be a guest on Stay Sparked. He's it's in the vein of The Emerald, if you like that, but it's I love the tone, I love the topics. I feel like it is really good stuff. Great. Thank you, Alan. Um, I'm grateful for my friend Jennifer, whose birthday it was yesterday. I ended up singing her a improv birthday song that was aggressive, loud, and mostly rhymed, and I think she told me she really liked it. I'm grateful that I've mostly completed a gift that I'm giving to my mom. I decided, like, I try to avoid like, my parents, they have everything they need, and if they want something, they get it. So I don't I try not to just pile on some wacky gift, so but I went through all of our old digitized slides. Several years ago, that was my gift, is that I digitized all these carousels of slides that were so hard to look at. And then I took the slides, or I went through all these galleries of digital folders, and I pulled out all the ones from Christmases in the past, with our long dead grandparents and my brother and I as little kids, and then my nephews when they were little kids, and I turned it all into a slideshow, so that on Christmas Day, my gift will be, okay, let's all go in the TV room and we'll get to watch a slideshow of our family through the ages at Christmas time. So I'm proud of that. It's the kind of gift that she will she will enjoy. Hello, Ariel. Well, I think with this, we should share a hug and then head out into the day. And if you can today, before you have your interactions or your emails or the choice points in your day, take a minute to think about, who do you want to be? I'd like to be kind, patient. I'd like to be empathetic. I'd like to assume good intent. I'd like to look for ways to show kindness and practice gifting. I'd like to avoid getting caught in mindless scrolling. I'd like to push myself to connect and reach out to people I care about. No matter what happens today, if I can be that person, it will be a good day. So wherever you are, give yourself a hug, but know that you're not just hugging yourself. Your body is symbolic of all of us here and all of us that have ever been in this space of Hug Nation. Anyone who's ever shared a hug over the last 24 years, anyone who has acknowledged that we are not alone, the world would rather hug you than hurt you, and that there is strength and power and activism in supporting one another and remembering. So let's take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. Feel us squeezing you. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of us here, thanks for being a part of this Hug Nation Live. See you tomorrow. And by the way, at noon every day, there's a Zoom gratitude circle. It's 30 minutes max. You're always welcome. It's free. You can ask me for the link. You can find the link on lifestudent.com. And yeah, it's kind of like this, but more intimate. Have a beautiful day.